What happens when a royal guest walks onto live television thinking the rules don't apply to them? In just 33 seconds, Prince Harry goes from composed interviewee to a man completely unraveling on national breakfast television, and Susanna Reid is about to expose every uncomfortable truth he's been hiding from. The morning starts like any other on the Good Morning Britain set. The lights are bright, the cameras are rolling, and Susanna Reid sits across from Prince Harry with her notes prepared and her questions ready. She's done this 1,000 times before. She knows how to handle difficult guests, how to push just enough to get the truth without crossing the line. But today, something is different. Today, her guest seems to think he's above the conversation entirely. Susanna starts with what seems like a straightforward question. Prince Harry, thank you for joining us this morning. I want to start by asking about your recent comments regarding the media. You've spoken extensively about feeling misrepresented. Can you help our viewers understand what you mean by that? It's a gentle opening, the kind of question designed to let a guest ease into the conversation. But Prince Harry's response comes loaded with an edge that catches everyone off guard. Well, Susanna, I think the better question is why the media continues to profit from lies and distortions. You sit here, in this studio, and you pretend to care about the truth, but really, you're just like all the rest. The studio goes quiet for a moment. Susanna's co-host shifts uncomfortably in his seat. The producers in the control room exchange glances. This isn't how these interviews usually go. But Susanna, to her credit, doesn't flinch. She's a professional, and she's not about to let a guest, royal or not, derail her show. I understand you've had difficult experiences with the press, Susanna replies, her voice calm and measured. But we invited you here today to have an honest conversation. If you'd like to discuss specific instances where you feel you've been misrepresented, I'm listening. Our viewers are listening. Prince Harry leans back in his chair, and there's something dismissive in the gesture. Something that suggests he's already decided this conversation is beneath him. You're not listening, though, are you? None of you ever listen. You take what we say, you twist it, you turn it into something it's not, and then you act surprised when we push back. Susanna nods, taking in his words. I hear what you're saying, but help me understand something. You've given numerous interviews over the past few years. You've written about your experiences. You've shared very personal details about your life and your family. At what point do you take responsibility for the narrative you're creating? It's a fair question, the kind of question any journalist worth their salt would ask. But Prince Harry's face changes. His jaw tightens. His eyes narrow. And, when he speaks again, there's a sharpness in his voice that wasn't there before. Responsibility? You want to talk to me about responsibility? That's rich, coming from someone who makes a living tearing people down. The accusation hangs in the air. Susanna takes a breath, maintaining her composure. Prince Harry, I'm not here to tear anyone down. I'm here to ask questions. That's my job. And I'd argue it's an important job in a functioning democracy. Democracy? Prince Harry scoffs. You hide behind that word like it gives you permission to invade people's privacy, to spread rumors, to destroy reputations. Susanna's co-host tries to interject, to maybe redirect the conversation to safer ground. But Susanna raises a hand slightly. She's got this. She knows where this needs to go. I think there's a difference between holding public figures accountable and invading privacy, Susanna says, and I'd like to think we do the former, not the latter. But I'm curious, what brings you here today? If you feel so strongly about the media, why agree to this interview? It's a pointed question, and everyone watching knows it. If Prince Harry hates the media so much, if he thinks journalists like Susanna are the problem, then why is he sitting in that chair? Prince Harry shifts his weight. For a moment, he seems unsure how to respond. Then he goes on the attack again. I'm here because someone needs to call out what you people do. Someone needs to stand up and say enough is enough. And you've appointed yourself to that role? Susanna asks. Someone has to. But why you specifically? There are millions of people who have complicated relationships with the media. What makes your experience more important than theirs? The question lands like a stone in water. Prince Harry's expression darkens further. Are you seriously asking me that? After everything my family has been through? After what happened to my mother? Susanna's voice softens slightly, but she doesn't back down. I'm not diminishing what happened to your mother. That was a tragedy, and I think everyone would agree that the circumstances surrounding that night were deeply troubling. But we're not talking about that night. We're talking about now. We're talking about your choices and your actions. My choices? Prince Harry's voice rises. You think I chose any of this? You think I chose to have cameras following me my entire life? You think I chose to have every mistake I made splashed across the front pages? No, Susanna responds. You didn't choose to be born into the royal family, but you have chosen how to respond to it. You've chosen to do interview after interview. You've chosen to write books. You've chosen to make your private life very public. Those are choices. Prince Harry stands up slightly in his chair, his body language becoming more aggressive. You're twisting my words. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not twisting anything, Susanna says, firmly. I'm asking you to reflect on the contradiction. You can't have it both ways. You can't demand privacy while simultaneously sharing intimate details of your life for profit. The word profit seems to strike a nerve. Prince Harry's face flushes. Profit? You think this is about profit? I've used my platform to raise awareness, to shine a light on mental health, to make a difference. And I commend that work, Susanna replies. Truly, I do. Mental health advocacy is incredibly important, but it doesn't exempt you from scrutiny. It doesn't mean your actions and statements can't be questioned. Scrutiny, Prince Harry repeats, his voice dripping with contempt. That's a nice word for harassment. That's a nice word for the relentless attacks I've faced. Susanna leans forward slightly. Can you give me a specific example? A specific instance where you feel this show? Or where I personally have harassed you or attacked you unfairly? It's a challenge, and everyone in the Finding studio knows it. Prince Harry opens his mouth to respond, then closes it. He looks away from Susanna, his hands gripping the arms of his chair. It's not about one specific thing, he finally says. It's the accumulation. It's the constant picking apart of everything I do. But that's part of being a public figure, Susanna counters. Especially a royal public figure. People are interested in your life. They're interested in your choices. And when you make claims or statements, people are going to examine them. That's not harassment. That's accountability. Prince Harry shakes his head. You don't get it. You'll never get it. Then help me get it, Susanna says. Explain it to me in a way that makes sense. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you want all the benefits of your platform without any of the responsibilities that come with it. The accusation is direct, and it lands hard. Prince Harry's voice becomes louder, more aggressive. The responsibilities? I've spent my entire life dealing with responsibilities I never asked for. I've done charity work. I've served in the military. I've tried to use my position for good. And what do I get in return? Nothing but criticism and judgment from people like you who sit in your comfortable studios and pick apart every single thing I do. People like me, Susanna repeats. And what kind of person am I, exactly? Prince Harry realizes he's crossed a line, but instead of pulling back, he doubles down. You're part of the problem. You're part of this toxic system that builds people up just to tear them down. You act like you're doing something noble, but really you're just feeding the beast. The studio has gone completely silent. Susanna's co-host looks like he wants to disappear. The crew behind the cameras are frozen, unsure whether to keep filming or cut away, but Susanna remains steady. Prince Harry, I understand you're upset, but I'm not going to sit here and be accused of things I haven't done. I asked you here for an honest conversation, and I've asked you fair questions. If you can't handle being questioned, then perhaps you shouldn't be doing interviews. It's the moment everything breaks. Prince Harry stands up, his microphone still attached, the wire pulling taut. Maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I shouldn't waste my time trying to explain anything to someone who's already made up their mind. I haven't made up my mind about anything, Susanna says, still seated, still calm. But I do think you came here expecting to be treated with kid gloves, and you're upset that you're being treated like any other guest would be treated. Kid gloves? Prince Harry's voice is incredulous. You call this kid gloves? I call this journalism, Susanna replies. And if you can't tell the difference between someone asking you legitimate questions and someone attacking you, then that's something you need to work out. Prince Harry reaches for his light microphone, fumbling with the clip. I'm done with this. I'm done with you. Susanna watches him struggle with the equipment. You're welcome to leave if you'd like, but I think our viewers deserve to know why you're walking out. Is it because the questions are too hard, or is it because you don't have good answers? The challenge hangs in the air. Prince Harry stops struggling with the microphone and looks directly at Susanna. You know what your problem is? You think you're so clever. You think you've got me all figured out. But you don't know anything about my life. You don't know what it's like to grow up in the public eye. You don't know what it's like to have your every move scrutinized. You're right, Susanna says. I don't know what that's like, but I do know what it's like to do my job professionally and with integrity. And I know that when someone agrees to come on this show, they're agreeing to answer questions. That's the contract. Contract, Prince Harry mutters. Everything's a contract with you people. Everything's transactional. It's called professionalism. Susanna responds, and I'd appreciate it if you showed some. The words are delivered without malice, but they're firm. It's clear that Susanna has reached her limit with the prince's behavior, and Prince Harry knows it too. Professionalism? He repeats, his voice mocking. From the woman who built her career on gossip and sensationalism. It's a low blow, and everyone knows it. Susanna's expression hardens. That's unfair, and you know it. My career has been built on asking difficult questions and holding people accountable. If you can't see the difference between that and gossip, then I'm not sure what else to say to you. Prince Harry finally gets his microphone off and drops it on the chair. You don't need to say anything else. I'm leaving. Then leave. Susanna says simply, but know that you're proving my point. You talk about wanting accountability and transparency, but the moment you're held to those same standards, you run. Prince Harry takes a step toward the edge of the set, then stops. He turns back to face Susanna. You think you've won something here? You think you've proven something? This isn't about winning, Susanna says. This was supposed to be a conversation. You're the one who turned it into a confrontation. Because you wouldn't stop pushing, Prince Harry shoots back. You wouldn't stop with your loaded questions and your judgmental tone. My questions weren't loaded, Susanna maintains. They were direct. There's a difference. And if you felt judged, perhaps you should examine why that is. Prince Harry shakes his head, a bitter smile on his face. Unbelievable. You're actually blaming me for your behavior. I'm not blaming you for anything, Susanna says. I'm asking you to take responsibility for your part in this. You came here with an agenda. You wanted to use this platform to attack the media, but you didn't. Expect to be challenged. You expected us to just nod along while you lectured us. That's not true, Prince Harry insists. Isn't it? Susanna asks. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're angry that I didn't play along. The producers are signaling to cut to commercial, but Susanna waves them off. This moment is important. This moment needs to play out. Prince Harry stands there, clearly torn between leaving and defending himself further. Finally, he speaks. You don't understand anything. You sit here in your safe little world and you judge people, but you have no idea what it's really like. Then tell me, Susanna says. That's what I've been asking you to do this entire time. Tell me what it's like. Help me understand. But do it without attacking me or my profession. I can't, Prince Harry admits, and for the first time, his voice cracks slightly. I can't because you won't listen. None of you will. I'm listening, Susanna says, her voice softening. Just a fraction. But listening doesn't mean agreeing, and it doesn't mean I won't ask follow-up questions. That's what a conversation is. Prince Harry looks at her for a long moment, and something shifts in his expression. It's not quite defeat, but it's close. This was a mistake, he says quietly. Coming here was a mistake. Why? Susanna asks. Because I treated you like an adult capable of defending your positions? Because I didn't defer to your title? Because I thought you might be different? Prince Harry says. I thought maybe, just maybe, you'd actually want to understand rather than score points. I'm not trying to score points, Susanna insists. I'm trying to do my job. And my job is to ask questions that our viewers want answered. Questions about the contradictions in your public statements. Questions about your motivations. Questions about your actions. And you don't think those questions are hostile? Prince Harry asks. I think they're necessary, Susanna replies. And I think if you weren't so defensive, you'd see that. Prince Harry's face hardens again. Defensive. Right. It's not that your questions are aggressive, it's that I'm defensive. Your response to my questions has been to attack me personally. Susanna points out, that's defensive behavior. Maybe I'm attacking you because you deserve it, Prince Harry says, and the venom in his voice is unmistakable. Susanna straightens in her chair. And there it is, the entitlement. The belief that because you don't like what someone is saying, they deserve to be attacked. I'm not entitled. Prince Harry protests. You're not? Susanna challenges. You walked onto this set expecting special treatment. You expected that your title and your status would insulate you from tough questions. And when that didn't happen, you lashed out. If that's not entitlement, I don't know what is. Prince Harry's hands clench into fists at his sides. "You have no right to talk to me like that." "I have every right," Susanna says firmly. "You're a guest on my show, and you agreed to come here knowing full well what kind of program this is. You don't get to change the rules because you're uncomfortable." "I'm not changing the rules," Prince Harry argues. "I'm calling out your behavior." "My behavior?" Susanna's voice rises slightly. "My behavior has been professional throughout this entire interview. I've asked clear questions. I've given you space to answer. I've challenged you when your answers didn't make sense. That's not bad behavior. That's good journalism." Prince Harry throws his hands up. "There's no point in this. You're impossible." "I'm impossible because I won't let you off the hook?" Susanna asks. "I'm impossible because I'm asking you to back up your claims with specifics?" "You're impossible because you won't admit that maybe, just maybe, the way you people operate is part of the problem," Prince Harry says. "And you won't admit that maybe, just maybe, the way you've handled your public platform is part of the problem too." Susanna counters. They're at an impasse. Prince Harry knows it. Susanna knows it. The entire studio knows it. "I'm leaving," Prince Harry says again, and this time there's finality in his voice. "Then go," Susanna says. "But don't expect sympathy from me or from our viewers. You had an opportunity here to have a real conversation, to make your case, to help people understand your perspective, and you threw it away because you couldn't handle being treated like everyone else." Prince Harry's face is red now, his composure completely gone. "You're unbelievable. You're absolutely unbelievable." "I'm honest," Susanna says. "And apparently that's something you're not used to." Prince Harry starts to walk off the set, but he turns back one more time. "You'll regret this. You'll regret treating me this way." Susanna doesn't flinch. "Is that a threat?" "It's a prediction," Prince Harry says. "Then, I'll take my chances," Susanna replies. "Goodbye, Prince Harry." He storms off the set, the sound of his footsteps echoing through the studio. Susanna sits there for a moment, collecting herself. Then she turns to the camera. "Well," she says, her voice remarkably steady, "that was certainly unexpected. We'll take a quick break and be right back." The camera's cut, but the damage is done. In just over half an hour, Prince Harry has managed to destroy any goodwill he might have had. He came on to Good Morning Britain expecting deference, expecting to be treated like royalty. Instead, he met a journalist who refused to bow, and he couldn't handle it. Susanna sits there as the crew rushes around her, some checking on her, others already preparing for the next segment. She takes a sip of water and allows herself a small moment of reflection. She didn't enjoy what just happened. She never enjoys when an interview goes off the rails like that. But she stands by every question she asked, every challenge she made. In the control room, the director is already planning how to handle the rest of the show. The producers are fielding calls from executives. Social media is exploding with reactions. Everyone has an opinion about what just happened, but Susanna isn't thinking about any of that yet. She's thinking about the young man who just walked off her set, so convinced of his own righteousness that he couldn't see his own contradictions. She's thinking about how someone with so much privilege could feel so victimized. She's thinking about the responsibility that comes with a platform like his and how he seemed to resent that responsibility while simultaneously exploiting it. The floor manager gives her a signal. They're coming back from commercial in 30 seconds. Susanna straightens her papers, checks her appearance in the monitor, and prepares to address what just happened. Because that's what she does. That's who she is. A professional who doesn't shy away from difficult moments. As the cameras come back on, Susanna looks directly into the lens. Her expression is calm, composed, maybe even a little bit sad. Welcome back to Good Morning Britain. As you just witnessed, our interview with Prince Harry ended rather abruptly. I want to be clear about what happened there. We invited him onto the program to have an honest discussion about his views on the media, his recent projects, and his life. What we got instead was a masterclass in deflection and personal attacks. She pauses, letting her words sink in. I've been doing this job for a long time. I've interviewed prime ministers and celebrities, activists, and authors. And I've learned that the mark of someone who truly believes in what they're saying is their ability to defend it calmly and rationally, to engage with challenging questions, to admit when they might